The billionaire owner of the Cincinnati Open, Ben Navarro, reportedly pulled Filipina tennis sensation Alex Eala aside for a private conversation shortly after her first round bye was confirmed, and what he told her could potentially change the future of the tournament. Navarro, who owns the Cincinnati Open and is also the father of American tennis star Emma Navarro, has been closely watching Eala's meteoric rise and growing impact on the sport. After Eala secured her place directly into the second round, Navarro made a gesture that reportedly caught the attention of the tennis world, especially as the newly renovated tournament, which recently underwent a massive £193 million transformation, looks to build its future around the sport's biggest stars. With Eala's popularity exploding among Filipino fans and her presence creating unprecedented attention around the tournament, the Cincinnati Open now appears ready to embrace her as one of its newest headline attractions. During their private conversation, Navarro reportedly delivered a powerful message to Eala: "You are the story of this tournament." And with Eala potentially facing Emma Navarro in the third round, that private meeting has only added another layer of intrigue to what could become one of the most closely watched storylines of the Cincinnati Open. The 62-year-old tournament owner, Ben Navarro, who has invested nearly £100 million of his own fortune into transforming the Lindner Family Tennis Center, had been closely following Alex Eala's meteoric rise and understood exactly what her arrival in Cincinnati could mean for the newly renovated tournament. He had watched ticket sales explode in Toronto, witnessed thousands of passionate Filipino fans turning stadiums into what many described as Little Manila, and recognized that Eala had become far more than just another rising tennis star. She had become a major attraction capable of bringing an entirely new audience to the sport. The timing could not have been better, because the Cincinnati Open had just completed a staggering £193 million renovation and expansion, with Navarro personally covering roughly half of the cost. The Lindner Family Tennis Center had doubled in size from 20 acres to 40 acres, featuring a new 2,300-seat sunken stadium, 13 additional courts, and a state-of-the-art clubhouse designed to take the tournament into a new era. World number 1 Aryna Sabalenka had already praised the transformation as insane, saying the venue felt like a completely different tournament. But even with all those upgrades, the event needed a star capable of showcasing its new identity, and Alex Eala had arrived at precisely the right moment. Navarro's reported gesture toward Eala therefore carried much greater significance, because he understood that her presence in Cincinnati was about more than wins, rankings, or another tennis match. His daughter Emma Navarro, seeded 11th and placed in the same draw as Eala, could potentially face the Filipina star in the third round, adding another fascinating layer to the story. For Navarro, however, Eala's growing influence represented something much bigger: a chance for Cincinnati to become the center of one of the most exciting new tennis movements in the world. It was about a movement. The Filipino diaspora had already proven that they were willing to travel thousands of miles just to watch Alex Eala compete, and Ben Navarro, a billionaire who understands the business and economics of professional sports, knew exactly what that level of passion could mean for the Cincinnati Open. Their private conversation appeared to set the stage for a tournament that could be remembered for years to come, with Eala receiving a first-round bye and being treated as one of the event's most important attractions. As she prepared for her Cincinnati debut, Eala carried the knowledge that the billionaire owner behind the tournament reportedly believed she was the story of the event. With the Cincinnati Open expanding from a 20-acre site into a massive 40-acre tennis complex, Navarro reportedly told Eala, "You're exactly the kind of player this new venue was built for." But behind that private conversation was something even more interesting than business. It was about a father recognizing something special in a young Filipina sensation that reminded him of his own daughter, Emma Navarro. The connection between the two players suddenly became far more intriguing than anyone expected, because both women were now positioned within the same Cincinnati Open draw, creating the possibility of a high-profile showdown between Eala and Navarro. And as the tournament approached, the question became impossible to ignore. Could the rising Filipina star and the daughter of the tournament's billionaire owner end up meeting on the court? Emma Navarro was ranked number 20 in the world, just one place behind Alex Eala at number 19, and both players had received first-round byes as seeded competitors, creating the possibility of a highly anticipated meeting later in the tournament. An Eala Navarro showdown quickly emerged as one of the most intriguing potential matchups on the Cincinnati Open draw, bringing together two of the youngest players competing at the highest level of women's tennis. But Ben Navarro's admiration for Eala reportedly went far beyond the possibility of watching his daughter face her on court. As a billionaire sports executive who had invested hundreds of millions of dollars into tennis, Navarro had been closely following Eala's extraordinary rise and understood the commercial power surrounding her. He had seen the rapid ticket sellouts in Toronto, witnessed huge Filipino crowds transforming stadiums into what fans called Little Manila, and recognized that Eala's popularity represented something much bigger than a normal tennis storyline. For Navarro, her presence in Cincinnati offered the newly renovated tournament an opportunity to connect with a massive and passionate international fan base, making Eala not simply another competitor in the draw, but one of the most valuable and compelling stars of the event. The renovation, personally financed by Ben Navarro, has transformed the Lindner Family Tennis Center into one of the most player-friendly venues on tour, with the Cincinnati Open expanding from 20 acres to 40 acres and adding a new 2,300-seat sunken stadium, 13 additional courts, and a state-of-the-art 56,000-square-foot player clubhouse. World number 1 Aryna Sabalenka has already described the upgrades as insane, saying the venue feels like a completely different tournament, while Venus Williams, returning to Cincinnati for the first time since 2023, reportedly called the new facility Tennis Paradise. And now, Navarro appeared ready to embrace the tournament's newest star. According to sources close to the event, his private conversation with Alex Eala was about far more than simply welcoming her to Cincinnati. It was about recognizing the massive movement she has created around tennis. Navarro understood that the Filipino diaspora had become a powerful force capable of filling stadiums, driving ticket demand, and bringing an entirely new level of energy to tournaments, and he wanted Eala to know that the Cincinnati Open was prepared to be part of that movement. The question now is, what would you do if a billionaire tournament owner looked you in the eyes and told you that you were the story of his event? For Alex Eala, the answer was simple: step onto the court, embrace the moment, and show the world exactly why Cincinnati had taken notice. Alex Eala would stay focused, keep fighting, and prove that Ben Navarro's faith in her was well-placed, because when the father of your potential opponent believes in your future, you know you have truly arrived. Eala's private conversation with Navarro was about far more than a simple tournament welcome. It represented a connection to a $260 million vision for the future of the Cincinnati Open, with the Filipina sensation suddenly becoming one of the stars positioned to showcase a stage built for moments exactly like this. When Navarro purchased the Cincinnati Open from the USTA in 2022, he acquired one of the most valuable properties in tennis, including a license for one of the 6 combined top-level events on the calendar outside the Grand Slams. The billionaire, who built his fortune through debt collection and credit facilities, had major choices to make about the tournament's future. Charlotte, a rapidly growing city nearly 3 times the size of Cincinnati, had reportedly shown interest, while Chicago offered the obvious advantage of being a massive tennis market. Instead, Navarro made a bold decision to double down on Mason, Ohio, a city of roughly 36,000 people better known to many for its famous amusement park than for global professional tennis. The gamble was enormous. Navarro committed approximately $260 million to renovating and expanding the Lindner Family Tennis Center, personally covering around half of the cost himself, transforming the venue into a modern tennis destination designed to compete with the biggest events in the sport. And now, with Alex Eala bringing a passionate international fan base and unprecedented attention to Cincinnati, Navarro's massive gamble may have found one of the perfect stars to help define its next chapter. The tournament grounds expanded from 20 acres to more than 40 acres, with 13 new courts, including a 2,300-seat sunken stadium, a 56,000-square-foot player clubhouse, a 53,000-square-foot indoor tennis center, and a modern operations center that transformed the facility into one of the most player-friendly venues on tour. We looked at every option, Tournament director Bob Moran, an executive at Navarro's investment company, explained in an interview, recalling how an initial investment in 2024 produced such a dramatic improvement that the team began to believe they could build something truly special in Cincinnati. The players quickly noticed the difference as well. World number 1 Aryna Sabalenka, who experienced the transformation firsthand, reportedly said, "I first came in here, I was like, what's going on? Where am I?" She explained that it had taken her time to feel comfortable at the previous venue, but now it felt like a completely different tournament. Venus Williams, returning to Cincinnati for the first time since 2023, also praised the transformation, calling the new facility tennis paradise. But the biggest test was still ahead. The tournament had expanded from 1 week to 12 days and from a 56-player draw to 96 competitors, and now Cincinnati was ready for its newest star. As Alex Eala prepared for her debut, she was stepping onto the centerpiece of one of the most ambitious tennis projects in American sports. Yet Navarro's private conversation with Eala was reportedly about more than encouragement. It was also about the enormous financial opportunity waiting on the other side of the net. The Cincinnati Open features a massive women's prize pool of more than $7.4 million, making it one of the most lucrative stops on the WTA calendar. The singles champion stands to collect $752,275, while the runner-up earns $391,600 and a semifinal appearance is worth $260,100. Every round Eala advances brings another significant payday, with a fourth-round run worth roughly $156,678. For Eala, however, the money is only part of the story. She is entering Cincinnati with the opportunity to compete on a newly transformed stage, represent a rapidly growing Filipino tennis movement, and prove why the tournament's billionaire owner believes she could become one of the defining stars of its future. A quarterfinal appearance would reportedly earn Alex Eala $160,000, and for a player who has already made history as the first Filipina to win a WTA Tour title, the Cincinnati Open represents another major opportunity to add to her legacy. Eala's Toronto campaign had already established a new financial benchmark, with the Filipina star reportedly earning $89,700 in total prize money from the National Bank Open, including $81,800 from singles and $7,900 from doubles alongside Venus Williams, more than 5.4 million Philippine pesos. But the potential rewards in Cincinnati are significantly greater. The money, however, is only one part of the opportunity. The ranking points at stake could be just as important, especially with Eala entering the tournament as the number 17 seed and receiving a first-round bye. Every victory could help her climb higher in the world rankings, and with the US Open approaching, a deep Cincinnati run could provide valuable momentum heading into the final Grand Slam of the season. Navarro's massive investment has ensured that the stage is worthy of the world's best players, with approximately $260 million poured into the transformation of the Lindner Family Tennis Center, expanding the grounds from 20 acres to 40 acres and adding 13 new courts, including a 2,300-seat sunken stadium, a 56,000-square-foot player clubhouse, and a 53,000-square-foot indoor tennis center. It is a stage built for the biggest names in tennis, and now Alex Eala is among them. So what would you do if you were competing for millions of dollars, valuable ranking points, and a place in tennis history? For Eala, the answer was simple: stay focused, play her game, and prove that she belongs on the biggest stages in the sport. Because the prize money and ranking points were only the beginning of what could be possible in Cincinnati. The private meeting with Ben Navarro may have ended, but the message he gave Eala was likely to stay with her long after she walked away. You are the story of this tournament. And with $260 million invested into creating a completely transformed tennis destination, a doubled 40-acre venue, 13 new courts, a 2,300-seat stadium, and a state-of-the-art player clubhouse, the Cincinnati Open had built the stage. Now Alex Eala had the opportunity to make it her own. The facility had been called Tennis Paradise by Venus Williams and Insane by world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka, but even the most impressive renovation needs a star capable of bringing it to life, and Alex Eala had arrived at exactly the right moment. The timing could not have been better. The Cincinnati Open had expanded from a one-week event to 12 days and from a 56-player draw to a 96-player field, while the $260 million campus transformation had elevated the tournament to an entirely new level. Sabalenka led a star-studded field featuring Elena Rybakina, Jessica Pegula, Coco Gauff, Iga Swiatek, and Naomi Osaka, but Eala, seeded number 17, had quickly become one of the biggest stories surrounding the event. Navarro's reported gesture toward her carried even greater significance because his daughter, Emma Navarro, was also seeded in the tournament, creating the possibility of a meeting between the two players later in the draw. But Navarro understood that Eala's presence represented more than just another tennis matchup. It represented a movement. The Filipino diaspora had already shown that they were willing to travel anywhere to watch her play, and Navarro, a billionaire who understands the economics and power of sports, knew exactly what that passion could mean for Cincinnati. With Eala receiving a first-round bye and being welcomed as one of the tournament's major attractions, she entered Cincinnati knowing that the billionaire behind the newly transformed venue believed she was the story of the event. The 21-year-old from Quezon City had come a long way from the basketball courts of her childhood, winning her first WTA title in Washington, reaching the fourth round of Wimbledon, and climbing into the world's top 20. Now, one of the most prestigious tournaments in tennis was recognizing her not simply as a competitor, but as a player capable of bringing an entirely new audience to the sport. So what would you do if the owner of a major WTA tournament told you that you were the story of his event? For Alex Eala, the answer was simple: stay focused, play her game, and prove that Navarro's faith in her was well placed. Because the $7.43 million prize pool, the valuable ranking points, and the opportunity to make more history were only the beginning. The US Open was waiting, and the girl who once dreamed big in ruffled socks and light-up shoes was only getting started.